The Daily Show. I appreciate you dropping by and taking a chance to listen to this. Now, if you missed yesterday, you missed a good opening show. But before we get into that, I just want to let everybody know that's listening to this. Please, please, please like, follow, share, retweet, all the above, subscribe, wherever you are listening to this. It helps make the podcast grow. And it really helps get things going so more people can listen and hear more about the truth in the way that I see it. And if you're enjoying it, there's a chance that somebody else is also enjoying it. Now, again, if you missed that yesterday's inaugural show, you missed an article from the New York Times about basically the teachers unions wanting to go back to remote learning and generally not caring about your kids. And the New York Times pleading with Democrats to get them in line because they don't want to lose in the midterm elections. That's generally what came out of it. I encourage you to go back and give it a listen because it was a pretty good show, an interesting article, and a real insight into how the unions feel about U.S. parents, your kids, and where the priorities lie with Democrats and their allies. It's not with your kids. It's not with U.S. parents. So go back, give that a listen. It's a good one. Today, we're switching a little gears. It's kind of staying in the world of academia, but it's in the college ranks. So I'm going to be reading an article from justthenews.com and going over it. It was written by Aaron Kliegman over there. And the title is Activist Pressure to Nix DOJ Program to Catch Chinese Spies Grows Despite Conviction of Harvard Professor. So there's a Harvard professor that was convicted of concealing ties to China. And this is a Trump era program that the Biden administration is keeping up currently, but is starting to face a lot of pressure to close it down. And you would think having a successful run here would want people to get more to get these people out, but not so fast. It's the left we're dealing with. So let's get started with the article here. A loose coalition of lawmakers, nonprofits, and academics has continued to pressure the Biden administration and the so-called China Initiative, despite the Justice Department program to thwart Chinese spies winning a key conviction last month of a high-profile Harvard professor. Trump administration launched the China Initiative in 2018 to preserve America's technological age. The program, which the Biden administration has so far continued, is designed to identify and prosecute those engaged in hacking, stealing trade secrets, and conducting economic espionage for the Chinese government on U.S. soil. So, sounds pretty good, right? From here, that sounds like a good thing. We know for a long time that China has been stealing our trade secrets, has been stealing our tech secrets. It's one of the ways that they started to get the boom that they have. And it's about time that we did something. That was one of Donald Trump's big things. I know everyone said, oh, he was too cozy with China and he was too cozy with Putin and Kim Jong-un and all that. But one of the things that he did is he put the tariffs on China. He put the screws to China in a lot of ways. And no one in the world is happier to see Donald Trump out than China because he was tough on them, especially economically. And doing something like this, it made them have to actually try to steal our stuff. We weren't just giving it away to them anymore. So far, that sounds like a good thing. And the Biden administration has kept a few Trump policies, especially foreign, that obviously are worked, and they're doing it quietly. It's been exposed what they're doing, but they're doing it quietly. So this is another one. This is a homeland one, a domestic one that they've kept, but it's a good one. It's a good design. I'm going to continue. Charles Lieber, a renowned nanotechnology professor who chaired Harvard's chemistry department, became one of China Initiative's most prominent targets. Federal prosecutors accused him of lying to government authorities about multiple links to Beijing. Legal experts predicted Lieber's trial last month would be a possible bellwether for the future of the federal program. I'm going to stop right there. What a surprise. We have an Ivy League school. An Ivy League school. Not surprising at all if you know anything about what's going on with the Ivies. They're probably the most woke out of any of the schools. And to think that they have people that are Chinese sympathizers and probably know and are okay with it, not surprising at all. Continue with the quote here. Quote, "It may have a real impact on the future of these cases being brought under the China Initiative," Derek Adams, a partner at the Potomac Law Group, told the Harvard Crimson. "If Lieber ends up being found not guilty on this one, then I think it's just going to increase the pressure of some folks in Congress to shut down the initiative early." After a 6-day trial, It took a federal jury less than 3 hours to find Lieber guilty on all 6 felony charges against him, including 2 counts of making false statements and 4 related to tax offenses. Think of that. The evidence against Lieber was so convincing that it only took 3 hours of jury deliberation after a 6-day trial to all 6 charges, felony charges against him, slammed against him. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, making false statements and tax-related offenses, but when you're making false statements about these types of things and the tax-related things that are here dealing with China, this is our enemy. China's not our friend. They are not our friend. They are not our ally. They are not our economic ally. They are our enemy. They steal from us. They openly are hostile towards us. They are not our friend. So let's continue. Lieber had concealed his involvement in China's Thousand Talents Plan, a Chinese government initiative meant to recruit experts in science and technology and withhold information about becoming a strategic scientist at Wuhan University of Technology, and withheld. Beyond making misleading statements to investigators, he also failed to report any income from the program on his tax returns and failed to disclose a Chinese bank account used to pay him. So this guy just lied to his teeth. He was recruited openly by the Chinese government as an expert in technology and science. When you're recruited by the Chinese government, that means that you're feeding information to them. It's not hard to tie the knots here, to tie up all the loose ends and look at it. This guy was feeding information about his research as a top nanotechnologist at one of the most prestigious universities in the country and leading in this type of field. He's feeding our breaking research to China. And then becoming a strategic scientist at the Wuhan University of Technology. I don't even know what a quote unquote strategic scientist means. But again, he's now partnering with the Wuhan University of Technology. And we've heard that name Wuhan before. It's a scary name now in public. But anytime you're doing business or anything with China in any capacity, realize everything is the state there. It might sound private. It might sound Wuhan University of Technology. Oh, it's a school. It's a university. It's not the government. Yes, it is. Everything China is the government. There is no such thing as a true private property, true private market. So he's working with the government there, and then he lied about getting money from them. If he wasn't doing anything wrong there, then why would he lie about money? So I'll continue here. Lieber will be sentenced at a hearing at a later date to be determined. Despite the conviction, the Lieber case has so far had an effect opposite to that which some experts predicted. Rather than quell opposition to the China initiative, the conviction has only intensified the pressure campaign to abolish the program. Quote, the tax evasion conviction of Harvard chemistry professor Charles Lieber for failing to report income from work at Chinese universities is just the latest example of the China initiative's selective investigation and prosecution of academics not accused of economic espionage or trade secret theft, but apparently targeted instead for their association with Chinese academic institutions, wrote Alex Liang and Michael German, I don't know how to say your last name, of the left-leaning Center for Justice. Now, mind you, Just the News is a right-leaning source. So I'm just putting that out there. Full disclosure, New York Times yesterday, obvious left-leaning. This one is a right-leaning source. So just take that with whatever you want. But what he's saying here is, unless you are openly committing economic espionage or caught or a trade secret theft, then we shouldn't be going after you. When we just talked about it, he works for the Chinese government. A Chinese Thousand Talents Plan. He's recruited, government initiative meant to recruit experts in science and technology. The guy's working for the Chinese government. So it's nonsense what they're saying about the fact that he's being selectively targeted. No, he's doing the wrong thing and he got caught. Let's continue. Their criticism echoes the arguments of other critics who say the China initiative is mainly focused on innocent academic researchers, largely yielding charges of fraud, such as lying about links to Chinese entities or accepting foreign money, as opposed to concrete espionage. Other activists say the program targets people of Asian descent with racial profiling. So let's start here. What is concrete espionage? What does that mean? They don't define it here. I guarantee the other arguments don't define it. What concrete espionage is. I'd say doing deals, making money from our enemy and working with our enemy. I don't care if it's in an academic sense. They're the enemy. We don't want to be sharing things with them. So yeah, they are doing it wrong. And concrete espionage, what does that even mean? And they say the program targets people of Asian descent for racial profiling. There it is. There's the left. They always have to go to that. They always go to identity politics. It's just, they have to. They can't not do it. And you know what? If it's a program that is meant to stop sharing with China, I'd imagine that the Chinese would try to work with people of Asian descent because they might feel that they have maybe some more sympathies towards them. It's a natural thing. It's not mind-bending here. To continue, the MIT Technology Review found in a recent study that nearly 90% of the China Initiative defendants are of Chinese origin. Only about a quarter of the defendants charged under the initiative had been convicted. And the initiative's focus has shifted from espionage to cases of quote-unquote research integrity, often involving researchers failing to disclose ties to China. All that's saying is that what we are seeing here is it's harder to get them on espionage. So we're finding them on sharing research. It sounds like it's not a big deal, but when I tell you it is, because they're doing this research for China. If they're working with China, they're doing it at their discretion, being told what to research there. So they're doing this for China. Don't get it twisted. To continue, hundreds of professors from U.S. universities have signed on to letters arguing the initiatives of having a chilling effect on scientific research and academic freedom. Several pro-China nonprofits and business groups have made similar arguments, as have Democratic lawmakers such as Ted Lieu, who called on the Justice Department to investigate the repeated wrongful targeting of individuals of Asian descent for alleged espionage. So, sorry, Ted. Democrat lawmaker Ted Lieu. I prefer how the conservatives do it. I'm not going to lie. They investigate them, they give them their day in court, and then they find out, okay, we caught you or we didn't. Unlike, the left's history of how they do things, they either put them in internment camps, they put them to slavery, or they make them walk across the country where they drop dead when they're trying to resettle them. So yeah, I prefer this way. Moving on. The China Initiative has led to several arrests and convictions. Most recently, a Chinese national formerly residing in Chesterfield, Missouri, pleaded guilty on Thursday to conspiracy to commit economic espionage. Zhang Haito, 44, conspired to steal trade secrets from an agricultural company to the benefit of the Chinese government, according to court documents. In November, to cite another example, a federal jury convicted Yajun Zhu, deputy division director of China's 6th Bureau of the Jiangsu Province Ministry of State Security, for attempting to steal trade secrets and commit economic espionage. Other Americans besides Lieber have also been found guilty of similar crimes. In April, a PhD chemist and U.S. citizen from Michigan was convicted of wire fraud, economic espionage, conspiracy to commit trade theft, secret theft, and possession of stolen trade secrets to help set up a new company in China. It's not like these things aren't happening. They are happening. And whenever tragedies happen, whenever things go on, people automatically start going, well, why didn't we do anything? We knew this was going on. Well, here it is. This initiative is trying to do something. It's trying to nip it in the bud before these people are able to get our secrets out to China that could potentially be used against us. So we're trying to do something proactive, but all of a sudden, it's wrong. Don't do it. It's bad. It's this and that. Continuing with the article. Defenders of the China Initiative reject accusations of racial profiling, noting that the overwhelming majority of China's espionage activities are carried out by individuals of Chinese ethnicity, and that each individual accused of spying for China gets due process under the U.S. law. They also note that, according to the Justice Department, more than 1,000 researchers who had hidden their affiliation with the Chinese military fled the U.S. last summer. Now, just thinking right here, would it be any surprise to you if China is sending people over here, some of their best and brightest, to get into universities, to get into high positions, to play the long game, to send money back to them, send research back to them? I don't put it past the realm of possibility. I don't put it past that we're doing that as well. Don't think that America is scot-free in all this. Espionage is a two-way game. We all do it. But the goal is to catch the other one. It's not to let them do it. You still got to try to catch them. So this is what the goal is. We're trying to catch them here. It's not a racist thing. It's China's our enemy. And like it said there, most of the people that they have caught are overwhelmingly Chinese or Chinese ethnicity. So it's not a racist thing to assume that people of Chinese descent have sympathies with China or working directly with China would help them out. Continuing, when asked whether the Justice Department stands by the China initiative or is considering ending it, a spokesperson told Just the News that the department is reviewing its broader approach to China without commenting specifically on the initiative. Quote, consistent with the Attorney General's direction, the department is reviewing our approach to countering threats posed by the Chinese government, this unquote, the spokesperson said. Quote, we anticipate completing the review and providing additional information in the coming weeks, end quote. Whether the China initiative survives or not, the Biden administration will need to contend with the threat of the Chinese espionage. According to Mike Orlando, acting director of National Counterintelligence. Now, here's some fun stats for you guys. Listen to these. And Security Center, Chinese espionage cost the U.S. between $200 to $600 billion a year in stolen intellectual property. Meanwhile, FBI Director Christopher Wray testified his agency is opening counterintelligence investigations into China every 12 hours. And Director of Intelligence Avril Haines described Beijing as an unparalleled priority for the intelligence community. Roughly 80% of all economic espionage cases brought by the Justice Department allege activities that would benefit the Chinese state, according to the department. And that's the end of the article. So what you have here is, especially from the way I see it, this is a program that has been designed to stop China from stealing our stuff, which they've been doing, basically unencumbered for the longest time, because people have been afraid left and right to say anything about China. And we see guys like Enes Kanter Freedom, who's speaking out against it, not scared. And the backlash that he doesn't care that he receives, but he receives it. He's taking a big chance doing it in the NBA, where they get tons of money from China. And Enes Kanter Freedom is probably not going to be in the league next year because of this. Watch. They probably won't sign him, even though he's declining in skills. He used to be more talented, and they can use that as a reason. He's just not a viable player anymore. But it's something that we need to continue to look at, and things like this initiative that Trump put in place, and they're going to call it racist because Donald Trump did it. But Biden's been keeping it going because something is working with it. It is a good thing to try and catch spies in your country trying to steal your stuff. This isn't racist. This isn't targeting for any other reason. And to make a comment with a lot of let me go back here, with some of the academics that signed on saying that this is hurting their academic freedom and research freedom. Well, you know what? Don't work with China. It's that simple. If you have something that you need to do, if you're researching something that has to do with China, don't work directly with the government. It's not difficult. It really isn't difficult. And if you need to, then you need to inform the proper authorities before you do so. And you need to keep them in the know. You can't just, we give researchers, we want to give them this freedom to do whatever they want. And at times, certain things, I guess, but if you're dealing with an actual enemy, then you need to at least inform the state that you're going to work with a hostile and that this is the information that I'm working on. These are the potential of what could occur if they were to find things out. Because the way that they're doing it here, where they're sneaking behind and then claiming, academic freedom, that's bull. And that's what they've been using to hide behind to send these secrets back. So overall, when you're looking at this, I have to say Biden's doing the right thing. The Biden administration is doing the right thing currently. Whether they fold to pressure from the leftists that want this out because they're Chinese sympathizers, China is a leftist state. It's a place that's been praised by President Biden. One of his quotes that he said a long time ago when he was running, or when he succeeded, I guess, making president was, this is going to be a test whether our democracy, which we're not a democracy, we're a representative republic, but whether our democracy can survive as a government, or whether or not China's version of capitalism, whatever he said, is the way to go. So essentially, he's questioning whether or not our representative republic is stronger than the tyrannical dictatorship and genocidal state of China. Scary stuff. Right now, he's doing the right thing. in terms of this and keeping this initiative up. If he folds and this initiative goes away, we'll see, we'll find out where his loyalties are. But for Ted Lieu to come out and say a ridiculous thing that he said just because he's playing on Asian stuff, Ted Lieu's an Asian guy. So, of course, if you're in the Democrat Party and you have that victim status there, you got to play into it, or otherwise you're not doing it right. So overall, I thought this, just the news is right leaning, but I thought it covered it pretty fairly. And I really believe that this program should stay. We'll see what happens in the near future. But yeah, that's it. And I appreciate everyone for listening here and joining me. Hopefully see everybody back tomorrow. Again, remember, please like, share, follow, listen, spread the word about this if you like what's going on here. And remember to listen on Thursdays. We record on Wednesdays, my brother David and I, but on Thursdays, Alex Quest, the show proper, comes out, longer version. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff and it's good fun there. Social media, if you want to find it, just go search the Alex Quest, the show, and you'll find it there, because I don't feel like giving you guys the tags. I won't do it. I refuse to. So again, I appreciate everyone for listening. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good one.